All right, let's just be real for a second, because I know you've got goals. You're working hard, you're putting in the hours, you're building something that matters to you, right? But no matter how much effort you pour into it, there's this tightness in your chest, this constant buzzing thought underneath it all. Is it gonna work? Is this going to pay off? Am I going to make it? And that pressure, it doesn't come from laziness or lack of ambition. It comes from being attached to the outcome. You're not just working. You're watching the clock. You're watching your bank account. You're watching your follower count, your email opens, your sales conversions. You're not just doing the work for the love of it. You're trying to force the results. And I get it, I've been there too. In fact, I was just there myself recently. And I'll tell you what happened, but first I want to share something with you. Some ancient wisdom that hit me like a truck and made me realize I've been gripping way too tight. It comes from the Bhagavad Gita, one of the oldest spiritual texts in the world. And it says, you have the right to your labor, but not to the fruits of your labor. Now let that sink in for a second. You have a right to your actions, but not the fruits of those actions. Wild concept, right? But when I really started living by that, my productivity skyrocketed. Not because I worked harder, but because I stopped trying to squeeze a certain result out of every single thing I did. Let me break it down for you, because this could change your entire relationship with success and how you see the world. So here's the context behind that quote. The Bhagavad Gita is a dialogue between a warrior called Arjuna and his charioteer, who turns out to be Krishna, a representation of divine wisdom. In this scene, Arjuna is standing on a battlefield. He's about to go to war, but he suddenly breaks down. Why? Because he looks across the battlefield and realizes that he's about to fight people he actually knows. Teachers, friends, family. And he's torn apart. Emotionally, he doesn't want to do it. Morally, he doesn't know what's right. He's basically saying, well, what's the point of winning if it costs me this much? And that's when Krishna drops some of the deepest spiritual teachings ever recorded. And one of them is this. You have the right to perform your duty, but not to the outcomes. Do not be attached to the results, and do not fall into inaction either. In other words, do your part, detach from the outcome, and keep moving. And that right there, that's the blueprint for how to create without burnout. See, most people think burnout comes from working too much. But in my experience, and I've seen this with clients too, burnout usually comes from a much sneakier place. Like, how many creators burn out, not from working too much, but from obsessing over what that work is supposed to produce. You know what I mean? It's not the hours you put in. It's the pressure behind those hours. You're writing the email hoping it converts. You're recording the reel hoping it goes viral. Or you're launching the course hoping this is the one that finally blows up. But when that hope turns into attachment, that's when you're in trouble. Because now your peace depends on the outcome. And the moment it doesn't go your way, you spiral. Suddenly you're questioning everything. Is this even worth it? Am I doing something wrong? Why is it working for others and not for me? This is exactly the kind of thinking that traps high performers in anxiety, perfectionism, and endless tweaking, instead of powerful creative momentum. And listen, I'm not above it. A couple weeks ago, I was in that same exact place. I was grinding, trying to get a bunch of things to land, launches, videos, offers, and I realized something. I wasn't focusing on my actions anymore. I was obsessing over the results. I kept refreshing numbers and doubting myself. I was asking myself, why hasn't this taken off yet? What am I missing? And that's when the memory of this book hit me. Specifically this line from the Bhagavad Gita that I read years ago. It just floated into my mind like something wanted me to remember. But it gets even weirder. Right as I was thinking about that line, no joke, someone I barely know sends me a random reel on Instagram. And guess what it was about? That same exact quote. You have the right to your labor, but not to the fruits of your labor. And that's when I knew this wasn't random. My superconscious was trying to get through to me. If you followed my work at all, you already know what I mean by the superconscious. It's that higher intelligence in you. It's the part of you that's always connected to all available information, outside of space and time. You see, it knows what you need, even when you don't. And it wants to guide you. But it doesn't shout. It whispers through nudges, synchronicities, and moments like this. See, you don't think your way into truth. You download it through intuition. So when that reel came in, I knew it wasn't just a coincidence. It was confirmation. And it reminded me of something so simple yet so powerful, that my job is the action, not the outcome. I don't have to stress about when it's going to work or how it's going to land or whether it will meet my timeline. I just need to act in alignment and let it land when it lands. Now, I want to unpack something else that's related to this as well. You've probably heard the old school goal setting advice, right? Write down a goal and add the deadline to it. That's how you manifest it. Even legends in this space like Napoleon Hill talk about this. And look, I respect his work a lot. But the more I've studied the superconscious, the more I've realized you don't need to control when, you just need to choose what you want. Because what's the best time for a desire to manifest? As soon as possible, right? No one's sitting around thinking, man, I hope I get that dream life in 11 months and 3 days. No, you want it now. We all do. That's why we step into the emotion of the end result before it happens. We live in the vibration. We feel it. We align with it. And while we are doing that, we take real-world action. But we don't need a ticking clock to validate it. Deadlines will only create pressure anyway. It just makes you aware of the fact that I still don't have it. I still don't have it. I still don't have it. And that pressure just kills the frequency of the receiving. I remember listening to this Kevin Trudeau audio years ago, and this one story really stuck with me. There was this guy who wanted to sell his house, his ranch, I think, and he was adamant about selling it within a certain time frame. He listed it, marketed it, pushed it hard, and no one bought it. Time passed, the deadline came and went, and out of frustration, he pulled the listing. A couple months later, a wealthy guy was driving through the area, just randomly, and he spots the place. He goes, that's it. That's the house I want. It didn't care it wasn't for sale. It didn't care it cost more. He paid hundreds of thousands more than it was originally listed for. And I've probably butchered the story, but here's the lesson. If the owner had stuck to his timeline, forced the sale, or dropped the price just to make it happen by the deadline, he would have missed out on the perfect buyer at the perfect price. So you never know when your dream result is trying to meet you. But if you're obsessed with when, you might block the how. And that's why I always say, we don't create from pressure or deadlines. We create from alignments provided by the right structure and consistent action. We live in the end result emotionally now, and we let the manifestation meet us in the perfect moments. That's how this game really works. So let's bring it all home. This one line from a 2,000-year-old text, as I just rediscovered it myself, carries the exact antidote to modern-day burnout. You have the right to your labor, but not to the fruits of your labor. It's not passive. It's not spiritual bypassing. It's not about sitting on your couch waiting for the universe to deliver. It's about going all in on the work without trying to force a win. 100% intention, 0% attachment. And the moment you do that, something magical happens. You become unshakable because you're no longer building your identity on results. You're grounded in action. And ironically, the less you chase the outcome, the faster it shows up. If this message hit you at the right time, that's probably not an accident, because maybe your superconscious has been trying to nudge you too. So if you're done chasing outcomes, if you're done gripping your goals to death, and you're ready to build a structure where aligned action flows, resistance dissolves, and results show up on time, every time, that's what we do inside my free Skool community called Superconscious Awakening. You will learn how to shift the structure of your life so you finally get out of this infinite loop of trying to fix yourself, recode your resistance, and create without burnout. Join while it's still free. Your old identity won't like it, but that's how you know it works. I'll see you inside.